Hey, it's Tony Veroeven, Associate Director of NAFA. I met with Nitin Shanbhag and Jeff Thibodeau of Mikropor, an air filtration manufacturer. Our discussion took place back in February at the 2022 AHR Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. We discussed supply chain issues in air filtration, including forecasting and sometimes having difficult discussions with customers who expect and need product. Some of the references to the pandemic might be a bit outdated, but it's still a good listen. Enjoy. Hi, it's Tony Veroeven, and we're talking air filtration with Mikropor. We've got Nitin Shanbhag, and we've got Jeff Thibodeau, and we're here again at AHR Expo in Las Vegas. It's great to be back, right, guys?
Tony, I tell you what, it's been a godsend to just be interacting with people, talking to them about their needs, and be able to convey a lot about us as an organization, but also as a member of NAFA.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get to that. Thank you. Awesome. And Jeff, why don't you go ahead and say hello and tell us what you do, and we'll get back to Nitin with a little bit about what you guys do.
I am a Mikropor HVAC area manager, specializing in HVAC. Mikropor is a big company, and I was hired to bring the HVAC to the forefront, and very happy to be involved in NAFA, and very happy to be a co-chair on the Membership and Marketing Committee.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for helping out on that. So the reason I wanted to talk to you guys, we've been talking about doing this for a long time, was we wanted just to talk about the industry, right? I think there's a lot going on in HVAC, there's a lot going on in air filtration, there's a lot of talk and craziness in air quality, right? This whole industry is at the forefront of this pandemic, right? And so the work that you guys do is super important. And I want to just kind of highlight that, but then also what is let's talk a little bit about the industry. Like, obviously we've got supply chain issues, and I wanted to just understand, how are you guys handling that? And, what can some of your customers, I guess, expect from what you guys are seeing, or what can they expect from what, working with you guys, and, what do you see in the industry? So just kind of get your perspective. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, Tony, thanks. This is Nitin again. Supplying has been a challenge, as many people have experienced in the past 18, 20 months. So as a manufacturer, what have we done to help curtail some issues? Number one is being more connected to distribution. But the other part of it is making the plans internally, not only with our own manufacturing and our own forecasting, but our partners. So we may need some small components to make glues, to make plastics, not just the media, which seems to be at the forefront of awareness in filtration these days. It's all of those small things that can really cause a fracture to being able to supply. So that's a big thing on our radar right now.
For sure. So let's back up a little bit. Tell us about Mikropor. Where are you guys in the industry, or in this HVAC air filtration space?
Great. Oh, thank
right?
you. Very, yeah.
Let's cue you up. Let's tell where you're at. And then kind of maybe touch back on, where are you guys manufacturing? What does the supply chain look like from your perspective?
Gotcha. So Mikropor, we're a 35-year-old company, family owned and run. We've been in the business primarily for the first 30 years as an OEM, making for other companies. So in the last 5 years or a little bit less, we brought our own brand to the marketplace. We're active in about 152 countries globally. We manufacture primarily in Ankara, Turkey. So we make to every different code and regulation throughout the world HVAC filtration products, which we call atmospheric filtration, and lots of other complementary products. Here in USA, serving the Americas, we're headquartered in Michigan City, Indiana. So we have about 1,100 people globally. We're a little bit over 25 here in USA. We have about 215,000 square feet in Indiana, and that's how we serve our distributors who serve the end customers.
Let's talk a little bit about your partnerships. Who you guys have been members. You guys are NAFA members. Tell us about how it is being here and working with your partnerships, and maybe some of the challenges I guess have kind of with the supply chain, the stuff that's going on right now as a reflection.
It's been challenging, and I think it's been challenging on different levels for different people. As a manufacturer, we have specific challenges that we needed to meet. with everything from labor to supply chain, but in areas where people wouldn't normally think. Nathan mentioned, glues. Who would have thought it would be difficult to get glues because, as Nathan said before, media. It's needed for the N95 masks, PPE, but we've seen it on all fronts. Raw plastics, to be able to make our own plastic molds has been challenging. Certainly logistics has been challenging. I think the message we want to share from AHR moving into NAFA and our show coming up is, get people to understand our position and also have them share their pains as distributors. We were lucky enough to realize that brand loyalty was gone as soon as COVID hit. A lot of people ran out of product. People were struggling to get product. So we recognized that. We invested in an additional HEPA line. We were trying to set ourselves up so we wouldn't be... we wanted to be forward thinking, proactive rather than reactive to the market. We are set up to increase our production, and we're actually being asked, and I'll let Nitin speak more to that point, but we're being asked to do some unbelievable forecasting, and that's always been a very difficult thing to ask of a distributor. So we're having more deep conversations with them. We want to help them grow as we grow. And grow during this pandemic.
So that's so let's talk about the partnerships and working together with distributors. How has this pandemic, the last just 2 years and counting, how has this changed your relationship? Has it deepened it? Has it challenged it? Is it both?
We have a very honest and forward approach. We've had to say no to a lot of people in order to remain a sustainable supplier to our existing customers. And we've only been at this for a couple of years on the HVAC side, so it has been challenging. But I actually think it has deepened our relationships with our existing distributors. And I think people that we've had to say no to appreciate that because, everybody's looking to fill a hole. There are product gaps, there are supply gaps. And, in order to remain in constant growth and in sustainable supply and in good relationships with people that you want to become loyal and keep loyal during these times, we have to be pretty much upfront and honest with everybody. So we're very, very, very strategic with our growth, very, very strategic in how we go to market. And we've pretty much been very, very honest with people. And I think it's been appreciated in the market, both from people that are our customers and people that, would like to be our customers or would like to purchase from us because they have pain.
I would imagine that you're both looking at each other, like you mentioned forecasting. So I would imagine that you're both kind of looking, like you want to know kind of what kind of sales and what kind of demand is coming. And then they're going to look at you and say, when am I going to get my orders? What's coming down the line? What's your forecast? So how do you reconcile that, right? Because you're both looking to each other. It's not just like, the problem is just not on one end. It's not just like your supply and you're the only problem, right? Because they've got a whole chain of probably thing, right? Everybody manufactures a little bit of piece of this or whatever. And so metal and media and cardboard and pallets and the truck and drivers and right. And so everybody's got accountability down the line. So how do you when you both kind of have demands, and how do you reconcile kind of your forecasting on your demands on each other?
That Tony, this is Nathan again. Transparency has been our key to success. And maybe it's a little bit odd for us as a manufacturer to be as transparent as we are with our channel partners. So for example, not just saying we have shipping increases in terms of duration, lack of visibility to certain things. We're showing things to them that most everybody doesn't. We'll tell them at the granular level the increases that we've experienced from our suppliers, so that they can understand when we make changes, right? The other part of that is that we try to get ahead of the curve. We convey those challenges in a way and say, this is what we have to do to overcome that as a group. So for example, as Jeff alluded to a bit earlier, we are working with our suppliers all the way into 2023, not just giving forecasting, but giving hard POs into 2023 so that they can get through their issues internally, and together we minimize those issues and we're able to supply product which serves customers.
How are things looking? How has the last 6 months been? Have things been getting better? A way out? Are things getting better?
Things are getting better. As America reopens, it's more challenging in colder areas where, there's been setbacks because of Omicron. But I think moving forward, as a country, as a nation, as an industry, we are better off. I think we're better off every day because we have conversations every day. So we're learning about the different pains and challenges, not only for end users, whether it be a school district, a commercial building, a manufacturer, but our distributors are sharing that information with us, and we're being transparent with them. I think we're closer to the end, and everybody hopes we're closer to the end. But as a manufacturer, I think we've done necessary things to be successful moving forward. The additional changes that have been made in our industries have been challenging. We may have missed the curve with some products and stuff, but I think having conversations and sharing data is the most important thing for us to improve our position on all levels, for distributors, for end users, for school districts to open, for commercial buildings to open, for us to be here in Las Vegas, right? I mean, this is monumental with everything that's going on. So we're in much better shape, I think, moving forward, because it's going to take a different thought process on planning. I think we're going to be in a much better shape in 6 months than we are now. So I think the future is very, very bright.
I'm just thinking about being a manufacturer and all of this, just in time production. Is that all out the window now? I mean, because there's no staging out. How has it changed the manufacturing processes or project management kind of methodology, or has it?
Oh, it's changed tremendously. SKU rationalization. So when you have so many thousands of different models, when you have hundreds of models, you have to get down to the really thin amount that isn't that 20% that represents the bigger portion of the business. So what we've done and what we're continually doing is analyzing what our channel partners are placing in the marketplace repetitively over time, and we're increasing those items. And then the stuff that doesn't move, candidly, we're getting rid of. And, we have that tough chat that we can't be everything to everybody, right, even within certain segments. And most everybody understands that quite a good bit. So it's really helping us, as Jeff mentions, increase our ability to serve.
Because of that, because you've maybe abandoned some SKUs, you've abandoned some products, probably has also had you lean into maybe some new ones. So tell us a little bit about maybe how this has also caused you to innovate and maybe come up with some new ideas.
Great question, challenging question, right? We're in an emerging market. The industry used to always be set yourself up as a manufacturer for spring changeouts and fall changeouts, because it's primarily heating, cooling heating season. So you always had big rushes, and as a former street salesman, those were your biggest months, right? Spring and fall. Totally changed now with COVID. As schools started to reopen, business became better and more important. So focusing on the changes that AHRA made to recommendations on MERV 13 and higher kind of fell in our sweet spot. We're a mini plate manufacturer of high efficiency filtration. SKU rationalization has been difficult, but I think you don't need 30 different sizes of bags. You don't need 40 different sizes of 2 and 4 inch. I think it's a difficult to demand the smaller footprint you have for some of the air handling units, and it's challenging for the end users to figure out how to get to those efficiencies. But I think limiting SKUs and coming out with maybe simply a MERV 13 or a MERV 15 and missing that MERV 14 gap moving forward might be an easier process for everybody in the industry.
Sometimes you have to subscribe to the old saying of make do with what you have.
Everybody's done a great job with that because of the supply chain issues. Bottom line was, if you were doing something better than you were previously, was understood that you were at least doing the right thing to try and reopen your building. But all the talk about ISO 890 and PM 2.5, and I think there's a great opportunity in the industry for us to change the language and get on a global language where we do a lot more SKU rationalization.
A lot of people talking about going back to normal or the new normal, whatever. What aren't you going to go back to?
I think you have to learn from the mistakes that you make. I think for us, in kind of a startup mode here in the United States with the Mikropor brand, strategic growth is very important. Staying on path with that and not over promising and under delivering is extremely important. So I think you have to realize what you did at the start to become successful at a small level and just graduate that on economies of scale. Slow growth, manage what you can with the people and resources that you have and manufacturing capabilities that you have is extremely important.
Got anything to add to that? I bet you do.
Well, I mean, we would talk a lot about organization. We talk a lot about product and modification of those different things. But at the core of it is a lot of the people, the relationships, the support you give. We're very blessed to have great people on the team, such as Jeff and others. But the other part of it is our channel partners, right? It's their businesses. We're there to support them, right? And we're not here to muscle them in any way in terms of how they do the business. I always bring up this pharmacy concept. Jeff laughs a bit, but at the end of the day, there might be some prescription that's needed by an end customer. And the prescription may need a multitude of brands of products to serve that end customer. And we don't take offense to that. We're happy. We just want a piece of the business. We want to be able to help customers, help their customers. And at the end of the day, we all win. We survive. We grow.
Well, and I think that's the great thing about NAFA is that manufacturers, you can take your hat off when you're under the NAFA umbrella, right? You might be competitors, but we're all really here for the same reason, right? The manufacturing distributors, even at the competitive level, are all here to serve the end user. Clean air matters, right? I always use that hashtag whenever I'm pushing out on social media, NAFA social media, to really help people understand like what we're all doing is really like, it's not altruistic, but in a way, it's like there is a greater good we're all really trying to accomplish here.
Are we bringing sexy back to filtration, right?
I know. The controls guys always thought they were the sexy. COVID has helped make the filter guys sexy again. And I think because we're doing the right thing. When the pandemic first hit, I was on the phone with other manufacturers and other big dealers trying to make sure what we were moving wasn't for someone to take everything and control the market. So we were vetting opportunities, making sure it was going to open up a hospital or take a convention center and turn it into a hospital. Right. So I think being fair and equitable with what we had was responsible, and in having conversations with other manufacturers, we all felt better about who we were and what we were doing and how important we became to society again. So we are bringing sexy back.
A lovely thing.
Right. So I really appreciate you inviting me into your booth here at AHR in Las Vegas. It's so great to see you guys in person.
Yeah. No, thank you very much.
Again,
appreciate it.
Right?
Yeah.
And so any last words that you guys want to say here as we're coming in for a landing?
I think if we do the right thing and we act responsibly, we'll be able to get together more often, which I think is important.
I think it's all very soon going to be behind us, but we should be definitely respectful of the present. So having, interactions and being able to share like this is just really a blessing. So Thanks again.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tony.
Take care. For more information about how the National Air Filtration Association's membership, networking, education, and certifications can improve your career and business, visit nafahq.org.